And welcome back, everybody, to another live stream. I honestly was sitting here thinking, when was the last time we had a live stream? But welcome back, everybody. How are you guys doing today? And so glad to see you guys here. Looks like we got a couple people already. And today's topic of discussion here, we are going to be breaking down, of course, you hear it going around, the winter storm is going to be possible. We'll almost change that to likely at this time, but you can see in this live stream, we'll be going over the ensemble data, the timing. Is it going to be ice or is it going to be all snow? Amounts, and we'll also break down the brutal cold that is coming to the St. Louis region. Regardless if we have winter storm or not, we will have the brutal cold. So that is what we're going to be discussing. And of course, if you have any questions, always drop them in the chat and we'll make sure to answer the best to our ability. So without further ado, let's get into the live stream. And how are you guys doing today? Glad to see you guys. Let me look at the camera, not up there. How's everybody doing this evening? Thank you so much for joining us for the live winter weather update. Glad to see you guys here. Looks like we have Leslie, we have Amy, and a couple other people in here that are wondering what is going to be happening for this live stream. So if you guys can, let me know if the audio is good in the chat. I really do appreciate that. And once we have good on the audio check, we will get started with the live stream because we have tons of information to go over and we're going to make sense of all of this for you. So when you go to sleep tonight, you will be well aware of what's happening. So you can see on our screen here, we do have what we're going to be talking about. So let's get right into the live stream. All right, Amy says, sounds great. All right, so as we'll just get right into the stream here because we, like I said, we have tons of information to go over. But I do want to go over right here. We do have this shaded region, not for everybody. It doesn't include Warren, Lincoln, and Jersey County as our core counties here that we cover here. But we do have a winter storm watch. Now, we did post this earlier just to let you guys know, but it's not going to be in effect until late Friday night through Sunday morning. So it's not in effect right now, but it is for late Friday night through Sunday morning. Now, the National Weather Service, we'll go over the data in just a second, but the National Weather Service is hard to read here, but it says heavy snow possible. Total accumulations between 4 and 6 inches are possible. And it also says travel could be very difficult, and additional details does talk about the wind chill. So the National Weather Service and the watch here is forecasting 4 to 6 inches will be possible. But before we get into the data here, I want to show you the satellite imagery, the water vapor here, and you can see our system if it'll show all the way. Let's see if we can get the whole region here, and you can see the system is just now coming on land here. So a lot of new information is coming through, but if you take a look here, as it loads, here is our system that's going to be moving our way. It is going to be very slow as it goes through parts of Texas, Oklahoma, even New Mexico and Arizona will experience some winter-like conditions. So as we go through this forecast, keep that in mind that the system is still forming. It's just now making itself on land. So let's get right into the data. So give me 1 second to change the screen to the data and we will get that load up here. Meanwhile, how are you guys doing this evening? Like I said, we have tons of information to go over. We will try to go over the best that we can. So thank you so much for tuning in. And let's get right into the data here. Alrighty, so we will not start with that. Okay, well, we'll come back to this. I know, we'll come back to it. But let's go into the data here. And in my opinion, if you were to ask me, I think the Euro, especially when it gets to cold temperatures like this, I really do think the Euro is the model to try to follow here throughout this situation. So let me get it loaded up here. I got a couple things for Christmas for the stream, and I haven't got to use it yet because we have not had a winter storm here. So let's just give me just a second. Let me get everything loaded up here. Glad to see you guys here. Are you guys scared about the storm? Let me know in the chat if you guys are scared. I think it's something to be aware of, but it's going to be on the weekend, so I don't think it's going to be that bad. But, of course, we'll always watch out for potential developments. So I'm loading up things here. Normally in my videos, I trim all this down to make it a little bit faster. But just give me 1 second. I apologize here. Amy says, I was looking for you about 5 minutes ago. 5 minutes ago. Oh, when we had our intro. Yes, we did have our intro. All right, so let me not get distracted here. I'm very good at doing that. Okay, so we are going to go through the model data, the recent model that we have of the Euro model. Time is a little bit up in the top hand corner or the top central part of the screen here, right below the banner here. And as we go into the evening, we will be just fine tonight. Nothing to worry about there. Thursday will be fine. And as we get closer here, look as we get closer. Now, this is what I want you to pay attention here. So, we have, take a look here. It's going to be school time, okay? Science class, everybody. So, I want to make sure as detailed as possible. So, we have the low pressure system down here, right? We have the high pressure here. This high pressure originally was going to scoot down before all the stuff got here. And basically what the high pressure was going to do is provide a shield, which means the lower it got, the further it was going to push. And that's what the recent data was saying, yesterday and the days before, that was going to happen. Now that's not going to be happening, because if we erase it, watch when we go ahead a couple of the scans here, watch the high pressure start to, it gets low, but look at the high pressure here. It's in front of it now. Now it's providing a shield over Kentucky, Indiana, which is allowing the door to open for the storm system to move our way. And that's why we are seeing more of the snow impacts this time around in this data that's coming through today, because it's simply, as simple as it sounds, the high pressure is just a little bit too far in front. So basically our shield is, gone, which is, like we mentioned, it's why we're going to have the snow event. Now let's bring you in closer. Let's get the model right into the state here so we can track along hour by hour. And I do want to let you know the storm system is coming on Saturday. We are broadcasting live here on Wednesday, so I am going to be honest with you and upfront with you that this could change as we get a little bit closer, but let's break it down very closely. So all of Friday will be just fine. If you have any plans on Friday, you will be just fine. So any evening plans, as long as you're home by 9 p.m., you'll be just fine. I do want to let you know Friday is okay. Friday is okay. But now as we go into Saturday here, it's going to be starting very early. And as we go through the day on Saturday, I do want to let you guys know it's going to be snowing the whole time on Saturday. It's not going to be like these past couple systems where it's just a couple hours. It's going to be snowing the whole day. The whole day you're going to be seeing snow out your window. But take a look here. You see how on the model here, a little bit darker colors towards the south. That's indicating some heavy snowfall. And we have some lighter snowfall here. And as we go into the evening time on Saturday, in my opinion, upon the data that we have available, is going to be the heaviest time for the snowfall rates. It's going to be snowing the whole time, but it's going to be the heaviest as we go into Saturday night and the Sunday. You can see darker colors are showing up on the screen, and that is what I am seeing right now. But as we go into Sunday, you can see it starts to wrap up, but we will have some lingering snow that goes into the early parts of Sunday, and we'll have some gusty winds on the backside, basically flushing it out as we go into Sunday. But remember, depending on the snowfall totals, as I show you in just a little bit, MoDOT will probably have to play catch up, because remember, it's going to be snowing the whole time. So the whole time we're going to be having snow, and it's going to be the powder snow. So the very fine powder snow that can easily get slick, that will be the kind of snow we have. And basically, I get a lot of questions, how do you know what snow type is going to be? Basically, anytime that you have dry powder snow, it means you're having temperatures below 20 degrees. So way below is when you're going to have the dry powder snow, which is really not going to have a lot of moisture content in it. But then I do want to let you know, by the time we get into Monday will be just fine, but it'll be brutally cold. We'll show you in just a second how cold that will be. But now let's get into the snowfall totals, because this is what everybody is wanting to know. Now, before I get into the snowfall totals, hello everybody that's in the chat, I do want to let you guys know, I want to be very honest with you. Listen everybody, because this is the most important piece of information that you will get from this live stream. So when I show you these snowfall totals, I know you guys have seen almost a foot of snow, lots of ranges of snow. But here's the thing. So the weather models, most of the models, this one is a little bit different, the first one I'm going to show you, but the models, there is called ratio. So you have a 10-to-1 ratio, and that's what the model provides here for the snowfall. But the thing is, it's going to be so dry, the snow is going to be so dry, and it's going to be so powdery, and it's going to be very cold. We'll show you temperatures at the very end, but we're going to be in the teens while snowing. You can't use the 10-to-1 ratio for accurate guidance. So if you're seeing snowfall maps, they're not going to be accurate because the ratio is off. So we will show you what the model is showing, and then we'll give you a little bit more analysis what to expect. But remember, these are not the final snowfall totals because the ratio is a little bit off. And I'll explain more of that in just a second, but let's go into, let's say, the early snowfall forecast. So the snowfall forecast here for the National Weather Service blended models total snowfall forecast, you can see is 6.3, 8.7 in Rolla. A lot of places are near the 5, 6, 7 inch range, which does correspond with the winter storm watch. I do want to let you guys know it does go into the winter storm watch, but look how tight, if I draw this on the screen here, take a look here, look how tight the cutoff is, almost near I-70. And remember, we'll keep showing more information about this, but remember, if it goes a little bit north, we could see the 8.7 inch range go into our area. Now, if we see the high pressure just a little bit stronger and pushes us back down, we could see us drop back into the 4-inch range. So you see how it's shifting, and it's like we could have very small totals if it comes down, and we could have huge totals if it shifts a little bit more north. So keep that in mind as we're going into the rest of the data. And why I had this live stream is just because it's so hard to explain all that in one. So let's go into the ensembles, because that is what we are really focusing on here. And what we posted this morning was the likelihood of seeing basically 4 inches of snow. So basically here, this is the ensembles, and remember, this is a 10-to-1 ratio. It's not going to be the accurate ratio because the snow is just going to be too dry. It's going to be able to pile up very, very quickly. So this is just an ideal. This is not the final forecast. This is just a ballpark. This is just a what to expect. It's just very, very, very early numbers. So you can see as we go into the ensemble forecast, this is the European model. And I want to show you here, the St. Louis region, the Metro St. Louis, for the majority of our following audience, we're in about the 41% range of seeing at least 4 inches of snow. Now, the further south you get, the higher the confidence goes. But are you seeing a trend here that I'm seeing? Look how the dividing line is so close. It is too close for comfort. And what I mean by that is slight shifts could easily throw us either way. So slight shifts south could throw us way below seeing 4-inch snowfall total, and a slight shift north could see an elevated shift north. So that's why there is a huge range of snow, the snowfall forecast, and I will show you the other ensemble forecast. And basically, the ensemble forecast, if you're new or you're not sure what the ensemble forecast is, basically here is the GEFS. So what this does is when there's a new model run, normally every couple hours, like, let's see, it runs at 4:30, 10:30 tonight, and then 4:30, 10:30, 4:30. And basically what that does is there's 10 computers of the exact same model. They run the simulation, and then what this does is shows the probability, like, okay, we have 40% of the model showing this, 40% not showing that. So here is what the GFS thinking. And as you can see, the probabilities for the GFS is very, very low for the 4-inch. You can see very low. We're not even seeing any significant numbers. Very low data, which is not very. When it comes to the GFS for snowfall, it can kind of get a little bit crazy. So sometimes it's not always good to follow this. So that is part of the snowfall forecast. Now, what we have to do is, I know it's very complicated, but what we have to do is we have to, before we do that, hey everybody, I want to answer the most popular question on the planet. Will we have ice? Will we have ice in the St. Louis region? And the answer is no. And the reason because that is, one, we don't have the Gulf warm air close enough to us to have some raindrops. And the surface temperatures are going to be well below freezing, not at freezing at the surface. So that is why we're not going to have any ice. The temperatures are not there, and we don't have any warm air from the south further pushing far north to have ice. So ice impact, throw it out the window. Don't even think about it. Don't even worry about it. And that is that. So ice is out of the question. Don't worry about it. So let's go back into what we were thinking here. So when you come down to voice crack, I know I'm like 100 years old, but still getting voice crack. But what we have to do is, you see this banner that says the QPF? That is measuring rainfall. Now, this is basically the most closest accurate prediction that we can get to the area. So take a look here, because this is the closest. The others were just a ballpark, but this is the closest. So let's take a look here. And you can see as we go with the models here, you can see once again, we have a sharp cutoff. You can see wavy lines, wavy potato chips, lots of lines with the data. And basically all that should tell you is the snowfall totals are not locked in just yet. But what this does show is the snowfall total. When you see the 0.4 inch, like the 0.4 inch of rain, that is equivalent to about 5 inches of snow. So I want to let you guys know that. That is equivalent to 5 inches of snow is what that is forecasted. And anything below that is once you get in a serious, almost a foot of snow range. But remember everybody, what you guys need to remember is it can shift. These can shift, just like this morning it shifted 100 miles to the north. The data shifted 100 miles to the north, and that's why we have snow in the forecast. So you can see if it keeps shifting north, these probabilities of higher snowfall are just going to keep going through the roof. And then if it keeps shifting south, if it wants to go back down south, the lower snowfall totals will be minimum. So that is that. So that is the data talk. Oh, you're making it, yeah. We're not going to see ruffles. It doesn't look a little ruffles, but yes, that, I just want to let you know that the snowfall totals, the accurate snowfall totals, are just too early. It's too early, and that's why the 25 of you here and everybody who watches on the live stream, by popular demand, I am proudly announcing that we will have a second live stream update either Thursday or Friday, and we'll also have live winter weather coverage while the storm is happening. So if you're new here, make sure you share the live stream and follow, because we'll have plenty of more live updates seeing my beautiful face on this situation. But we are not done yet. We are not done yet. We are not done yet, everybody. So now we're going to go into the National Weather Service. So the National Weather Service is forecasting here, and this is a wide range, everybody. You guys can't see that well, but for the St. Louis metro area, they are forecasting, this is at 6:17, the range is a ½ inch to 5 inches. You see how widespread that is? But think about it. See how much that makes sense now that we have those wavy lines of how close the amounts are? That's why the window is so big. And when you have a snow amount that wide, it's still uncertain where the track can go. But we also have to wait till it's fully on land to see how strong it is, to get more data from it. So that's why we're seeing lots of ranges. You can see 1 to 6 inches in the Sullivan area, maybe a ½ inch in our southern Illinois area. And as we go up to the north, maybe 0 to 3 inches. So you can see the wide variety of the snowfall accumulations that are going to be around the St. Louis area. And at least, as you can tell as well, you can see the wavy potato chip. You can see the wavy amounts of the heavier snowfalls. And like I said, all it takes, I know it sounds like a broken record, but all it takes is to go 100 miles north, and it also only takes 100 miles to go south to really define what is happening. So if you didn't make it to the grocery store, it is okay because it is still uncertain. There is a slight chance that you may have overbought already before this thing even happens. And to be honest with you, to be completely honest with you, it's almost going to be one of those situations where you have to wait to the last minute. Basically, what these models are saying is we don't know yet. We think we know, but we don't exactly know. But this is just a ballpark range. But in my opinion, we're at least going to see something. We're going to at least see some type of snow. If it's a dusting, if it's 5 inches, if it's 20 inches. And I say that because look at this. Now, the National Weather Service also put out a worst case scenario. They do a worst case scenario. It's called a 1 in 10 chance of it happening. Now, let me get that load up here. And basically what this is a 1 in 10 chance that we're going to see this type of snowfall. And I don't want to scare you. But the high end, this is basically worst case scenario. Once again, look at the dividing line here. Look at the cutoffs. Most of the area south of I-70, including the Illinois side, is near 8 inches, 9 inches, maybe 10 inches all the way down to Potosi, and about 8 inches over in the Illinois side. Troy area near 6 inches, and then lesser amounts as you go north. So this is the worst case scenario. So that is... hey John, I do believe so. As we're transitioning finally. I do believe so. This is one of the most classic winter setups that we normally get once a year at least. But you can see what we're talking about here. Mainly, this is the worst case scenario. So worst case scenario, we can see 8, 9, 6 inches of snow. So the probability of seeing a foot of snow does look to be to our southwest near Springfield, Lebanon, Rolla, so nothing to worry about there. It's off the screen. You guys can't see it because it is probably not going to happen. But remember, it's always possible. Now, here is a 9 in 10 chance of the snowfall here. And look at this. The 9 in 10 chance, this is the best case scenario. We maybe get a trace. And how that happens is the high pressure comes down. It says goodbye. You guys are not welcome to the St. Louis area, and kicks us out. It kicks the snow out. It stays south, and that is what's going to be happening. So that is the best case scenario, worst case scenario on what's happening. So lots of information to take in here, but that is the breakdown. So that is what we're expecting for the situation. Also, just for fun here, it does show the probability of seeing zero point 0.1 inches of snowfall or more. And you can see, if not all of us are at least going to see some type of snow. I don't think we're not going to see something. We will see something. Excuse me while I take a drink of my filtered water. Thank you very much. So, like I said, we'll go back into the timing. But as far as snowfall totals go, in my opinion, it's just too early, everybody. We can look all night long. We can stay up all night long. They're just going to go back and forth, okay? I hate to break it to you, but they're just going to go back and forth. So, but real quickly, yes, prayers for the best case scenario that, the high pressure system, and like I said, let's go back to the United States here. So I can just give you a little bit more of a diagram and a little bit more information here. Let's go here. But while I'm getting this load up, would you guys like to have me, would you guys like a live stream the day before the event? So Friday, we had the last live stream to break down everything before the event. Or do you want to have one tomorrow and we'll have more to update data, but it won't be final until Friday? I think we'll probably wait till Friday for the update just so we can have hours before the event starts of what's actually going to happen. But while you guys discuss that, we're going to be going over what's going to be happening. So Thursday and Friday are going to be okay. We're not having any tomorrow cast because there's just simply nothing to talk about. It's going to be just fine. So nothing to worry about on Friday. Yes, nothing to worry about Friday. Nothing to worry about on Thursday. So if you guys need to go to the grocery store, you guys have until Friday night around midnight. So once the grocery store is closed, you will close your opportunity to get your groceries. Now, okay, looks like we're all saying Friday. Okay, we'll do another live update Friday, same time. So right now, while you guys are listening to me talk, save it in your calendar that Team Kenny Weather, Kenny myself, will be here Friday, 7 p.m. for another live last call update is what we'll call it. So let's take a look here, everybody. So once we have this system, look where the high pressure is. You see how the high pressure is right here, low pressure down here, which carries the system. And watch how they move here, okay? Take a look. Watch how they move. You see how the high pressure starts to scoot down? It's not the hospital sign, it's the high pressure sign. It's moving down. And then it jumps back north. It gets a little scared. It's like, oh my goodness, I can't do it. So it backs out of the way. And that's what opens up the door. Originally, like I said, that's what happens. So anytime, basically, if you look at model data, basically the easiest way to figure out is if the high pressure keeps going up to the north, this system is going to keep going up to the north, and it's going to keep bringing us higher snowfall to the St. Louis region. But if this high pressure hospital logo gets strong enough, and it's a brave man, it's like, you know what, I got this. Captain America shield coming down to the St. Louis region, and it blocks us, then it will shift everything back down as far south as Louisiana. So hopefully that's not the case, because I have seen reports that they're going to be using Old Bay seasoning as their salt treatment. So, it's kind of expected. They love their seafood down there, so it wouldn't hurt to use some Old Bay seasoning. So that is basically what we're watching. So we're watching the high pressure system, see where it fluctuates, see if it goes a little bit in front of the cold air, basically aka the snowstorm. But for the best case scenario, we want it to go first. We need it to go first and provide us a shield, so then it blocks the low pressure system from bringing all the snow to the St. Louis region. So that's why snowfall totals are wobbly, because the storm is a little bit old, and it needs a cane, and it's going to wobble back and forth. So like I said, the Friday update is the most crucial update. You need to make sure you come back on Friday, because we'll have the most accurate data that we can show, and the exact amounts as well. But we will be posting tomorrow on our Facebook page about additional, maybe we throw some snowfall totals in there, but it's really going to be more data to see where this high pressure, aka hospital logo, is going to be placed. Now, if it's going to run before, if it's going to be tough and provide a Captain America shield, that is undisclosed at this time. But basically, the main takeaway of this live stream is to be prepared for winter conditions. Like I said, I do believe that we will be seeing some type of snowfall around the area. And, just to give you an idea of how wide variety it is, it's almost like a buffet of numbers. It's a food buffet of just numbers, but it's just because each of the models has their own wobble track, and that's why you have to watch for trends. So once you can watch for trends that stay consistent, then we can figure out like, okay, this is what's actually going to happen. See, now we go into the NAM model, and I'm just going to show you the snowfall total. And basically what that means is the NAM model is never accurate model. And you see, this is a 10-to-1 ratio here. And like I said, it's not really the quite best ratio, but it's the closest that we have here. And just like this, the model is very wavy. There's lots of colors in here. There's lots of colors here, lines here, lines here. But this one has us on the low side of the snowfall amount. So like I said, we really, once we get close to the system, especially Friday, we won't have our weather models be sponsored by Frito-Lay and Ruffles because it's so wavy right now, so wrinkly, everything. So once we get to Friday, it will start to iron itself out. And if that happens to be tomorrow morning, we will show a brief snowfall update. But like I said, it's really going to be like hours before the event before we really get the snowfall total. But let's expect winter-like conditions coming into the St. Louis region. So any questions? I know we had a lot of information there. Unfortunately, there is no pop quiz or there's no test for this situation. I just want to let you guys know how uncertain it is, why it's uncertain, the snowfall totals, and everything you need to know about the system. But do we have any questions? Questions, comments, recipes, confusions? But as you guys are thinking of your questions, like I said, winter storm is coming. National Weather Service is advertising between 4 to 7 inches. But it's just a winter storm watch. Oh, wait. Hey, everyone. I forgot something. Hold on, everybody. Here we go. Let me find it. I think I can find it. Okay. Here, I want to show you guys something. I totally forgot. I am so thankful that my memory is great. So, before you guys head off here, or before we do a last little recap, we are going to show you a map. And this is experimental, which means it's still learning, it's still a baby. And basically what you're looking at here, this is the probability of exceeding a winter storm criteria. And as you look here, we are, look, even in the winter storm criteria, this is crazy to say, it still is wavy. So we're in the 50% to 80% chance, at least areas south in like the Union, Sullivan, Festus, Hillsborough, DeSoto, Potosi, and everywhere else that I forgot to mention. And over in the Illinois side, all the way down near Carbondale and the Mary and DuQuoin and all those places over there are in the 50 to 80% range of exceeding the probability of that they need to issue a winter storm warning. And the yellow here for most of our viewing audience around the I-70 corridor is the 30 to 50% range of seeing a winter storm criteria. And then up above, they're just not even going to think about it right now, but it is possible. And then, of course, in the purple is the highly likelihood over the next couple days that they will start issuing a winter storm warning. But that's why we have a winter storm watch. And basically, what a winter storm watch means, The conditions are favorable. It's almost like a tornado watch, okay? The conditions are favorable for a winter storm. There is some data that's starting to connect that we will see some higher end snowfall totals. But remember, as we get closer, National Weather Service is going to up and down their totals. And at the same time, the range is so wide open that it's almost confusing. So that is something to make note of. But you can see we're just on the borderline. But remember, if it shifts north, the redness is going to shift north, which means we're most likely going to have a winter storm warning. Or if it shifts south, they are not even going to think about it. So that is another analysis that you can take home with you, is the probability of the winter storm criteria is even uncertain. So, and it's still it has a very sharp cutoff. So, like I said, it very depends on the track of that system. So, that is why I want you guys to know. And if you're just tuning in, if you haven't heard already, we will be doing a live stream on Friday at 7 p.m. Excuse me. We will be doing a live stream at 7 p.m. with the most up-to-date forecast that you can possibly get right to your face and presented by me. So that will be that. And on Thursday, tomorrow, we will have a tomorrow cast, but it will be about Friday. So just letting you guys know, it won't be about Saturday. But we'll also post around 10 a.m. or so any new data from overnight about this system. So lots of more data coming for you. And we will be here on your TVs, on your phones, computers, whatever you watch me on, for a live stream on Saturday, breaking it down. We have all the cameras in place. And, I just want to show you. Hey, everyone, look here. I'm so proud of myself. Look what I did. So we will be watching the cameras. We will have all angles covered. So we do have our official new camera wall. It's been a long time coming for the OG followers, but we will be watching the cameras here. You can see it on your screen. It auto rotates, and I can manually override the cameras as well. So we will be monitoring that. No worries there. So we will be just fine. So, like I said, what to take home with you as you're going to sleep and as you're tuning off the live stream is the winter storm is coming. Amounts could be on the high end, but if it wobbles back south and stays south, those amounts could go down. So, like I said, not really need a panic buy. It's just this today, all the models have a north trend. Now, it's not the final answer. All the models tomorrow can have a south trend. And then they just wobble a little bit on Friday, or they stay consistent, or they shift back down. There's just so much stuff that's going through, and it's very overwhelming to go through. I'm just staring at the computer screen hours on end, just trying to analyze trends and what's going to be happening. Natalie says, dang, look at all them cameras. Thanks for looking out. Oh, you're very welcome. And down the road, these cameras will be open for your viewing audience, and you can open it on your own and control what cameras you want to see, stuff like that. So eventually that's coming down the road, but we have the beginning stages where I can control it. So that is what's going to be headed your way eventually. So like I said, once again, let's go back here. We do have let's delete this. It looks nasty. We do have a winter storm watch. Oh, I forgot to go over to cold air. We'll go over to cold air real quickly. But we do have a winter storm watch. No warnings right now, but just a winter storm watch for our area. And then last but not least, cold air. Then I almost forgot about it because it's really not that important. Besides, it's going to be very cold. And I'll show you the temperatures here. Not going to spend too much time on this because it's just going to be very simple, if I should say that. But temperatures here, we'll give you a forecast all the way through. So basically, this is what I look like. Thursday, we're going to be a little bit warm. So that will be nice. We'll be in the 40s. We go into Friday. Look at Friday night, everybody. Friday night, overnight on Saturday. Look at that. 7 degrees. 7 degrees. We are all older than the temperature, okay? 7 degrees. And as we get into Saturday, we're not going to be warming up. That's why we had that dry powdery snow, because look at it. 10 degrees for the snow. And this is not the wind chill. I'll show you the wind chill in a second. But throughout Saturday, we will probably only get 13 degrees. So it's going to be very cold. So everything's going to be sticking. Everything's going to be piling up. Everything's going to be powdery. It's just not going to be great. And as we go into Sunday as well, it's not going to have any help either. And as we go into Monday, hey everyone, Monday out the door, we could be below zero. It is a couple days away, but we could be below zero out the door on Monday. And I want to show you real quickly the temperatures, the wind chills. And I just want to let you guys know that the wind chill is not, someone does not go outside and is like, you know what it feels like? That's not what happens. There's a lot of other factors in there that decides what the wind chill is. So, unfortunately, I am, well, not for, let's say fortunately, there is no heat index. So that is great news. But if we go into Friday here, let's not get too crazy. Look here, Friday morning, out the door, the wind chill values are going to be maybe below zero. Look at Quincy here. Minus 13 wind chill. We will be close to minus zero. A little bit above zero towards the south here. But look as we go into Friday afternoon. You see that, everybody? Where the wind chill at lunchtime is going to be minus 3. Minus 3 degrees for the wind chill on Friday. So, like I said, the polar Arctic air, whatever you want to call it, is coming down regardless. This is staying consistent. We're going to have cold air regardless if it snows or not. It's going to be cold. So, make sure you're aware of that. Wind chills at 6 p.m. on Friday, still below zero. And as we go into the overnight hours into Saturday, we are not even going to get above 0 degrees. We may hit 1 degree, but that is going to be it for the wind chill value. So please make sure your heat is working. If someone doesn't have shelter, warming centers are going to be open. It is going to be downright cold, brutal cold as well. And okay, I did get a question. So that is the temperature right before I head off here. Someone was asking about blizzard conditions. So blizzard conditions are only when the wind is sustained at 32 miles per hour or more. That is the gust. As the gust is 32 miles per hour or more for over like 4 or 5 hours. That's how you get a blizzard warning. So I just want to check that. I don't think it's going to be possible. But let's just check the gusty winds. So it looks like we had some gusty winds on looks like Friday. Yeah, you can see it's going to be 21. But it's not going to be snowing at that time. So then as we get into Saturday, yeah, maybe slight gusty winds. It's not going to be blowing the snow that much. But I'm not seeing any blizzard-like conditions. So that is great news. So we have snow, not a lot blowing around, and not really too much of a blizzard hazard. So that is that. My mom says in the chat, thanks for keeping us informed and up to date on the weather. You do an amazing job. Thank you very much. And I think we covered a lot of stuff. So if you guys don't have any more questions, let me know in the chat. But if not, we will be having a full live update on Friday at 7 p.m. going over way more data. And I can actually tell you, hey, this is actually going to be the snowfall amount. And by the time we get there, it should stop being wavy. But I did want to just go live because, like I said, there's just a lot of information to be typing out, and it's just so hard to understand. So I wanted to come on here, explain to you what all that means and what you're seeing going around and what exactly is playing a factor in this system. So, like I said, live update on Friday evening, and we'll have some live coverage on Saturday. You probably won't be on the whole time because when it snows, not really too much to talk about. But we will have an update from the morning data around 10 to 11 o'clock to see what it does. But just keep in mind, it can go 50 miles north again and bring even more conditions. And it can go south as well. So lots of data that's going to be looked over the next 12 hours as we go into the next update. So we do have my forecaster behind the scenes. We do have my girlfriend looking at data as well, so that is very nice. So we have specialties looking at our data here, analyzing your data, and of course I'll bring it to you live on the live stream on Friday and on Thursday. So that is that. Natalie says, thanks, Kenny and your team. No problem. And like always, we always stand by providing free live ad coverage. So that is that. So we did not make any money off of this. So that's why we're always honest, straight to the point with the forecast. If it's actually going to happen, if it's not going to happen. But my final take before we wrap up the live stream, my final opinion for the 6 people that are here, my final opinion. This is just the data. I'm just explaining the data, but my own personal opinion. Could we see high snowfall? There's a high likelihood that we could. Would it be extreme? I don't think so. Could we see nothing? I don't think that's going to happen. But my single number is around 4 inches, 4 to 5 inches. That is just where I'm going right now off of data that I see. If the trends keep going up, my numbers will go up. If the trends go down, my numbers will go down. So that is the final update for that. So without further ado, I'm going to start finding the outro, as that is all we have to talk about. So the rest of the data will be coming in overnight tonight. Some of it's already loading right now, but the rest of it starts later after the live stream. So we will update you on that tomorrow morning, and we'll have a live full update coming to your face on Friday. So without further ado, thank you so much for tuning in. It looks like we have lots of people tuning in for this live stream. I really do appreciate it. And make sure you guys share the live streams, the post, the information, and let everybody know that I will be live for this winter weather event. I'm almost about to say severe weather, but we're not going to see any tornadoes, nothing like that. So thank you so much for tuning in, and yes, we'll be seeing you on the Facebook webs, and we'll be seeing you on your phone screen in the next couple days with new information. But right now, just keep in the top of your brain that it's going to happen. No need to panic just yet until we get the accurate snowfall totals, but make sure you're checking regularly for updates. So without further ado, we'll see you guys later. Have a great night, and we'll see you in the following updates. I was not ready for the outro. Sorry. Okay. Bye, everybody.